Sallie House, as it's called, is located at 508 North 2nd Street, Atchison, Kansas. This location became a hotspot for paranormal investigators in the early 1990s, when the Pickman family resided in the home. The reports of activity ranged from physical attacks, such as pushing and scratching, to the sensation of being tugged or pulled from behind. Apparitions, voices, footsteps, along with other various strange occurrences have also been reported, including growls and scratching sounds. However, the apparition of a little girl is where the house gets its name. Her name is said to be Sallie. The house was built in 1871 by the Finney family, who lived in or owned the house up until 1990. The history of tragedy began shortly after the home was built. In September 1872, Michael C. Finney died in the home, leaving behind his pregnant wife Kate, 2 sons, James and Charles, and a daughter Agnes. In May of 1873, Richard Edwin Finney was born, but tragically, he would soon join his father in 1874. Soon after her son's death, Kate would also lose her father that same year. After suffering 3 deaths in the family, the eldest son, James, built a house next to the family home in 1879. Then in 1881, James deeded the house he had built to his mother and moved to St. Louis, Missouri. Not much more is known of James until his death was reported in 1900. He died in Kansas from brain disease. In 1894, Charles received his medical degree from Beaumont Hospital Medical College, now known as St. Louis Medical School. He would open a practice in downtown Atchison. During off hours from the practice, he would take emergency medical issues in his home. There are several stories surrounding this decision that directly impact the home's current nickname, the Sallie House. In 1905, a woman by the name of Sally Isabel Hall had come to the home seeking help from Charles. She was ready to give birth and in need of a doctor. She gave birth in the house. However, the baby did not survive. Complications arose, and just a week later, she too would lose her life. Sally was 34 years old and gave birth to 14 children. All but 3 girls and a boy had died at birth. This is the only recorded death of anyone named Sally to die in the house. Here's her obituary from the Atchison's Globe. February 23, 1905. Sallie I. Hall, colored, wife of Will Hall, who works at the Walters Brickyard, died this morning, and the funeral will occur Sunday at 2 p.m. from the 6th Street Baptist Church. Miss Hall was only 34 years of age, but had given birth to 14 children within the past 16 years. All had died at birth but 3 girls and a boy, who survived their mother. The oldest is 16 and the youngest is 2. A baby was born a week ago. Think of the suffering, think of the tragedy crowded into one brief life. Every year there has been a birth and a death in that house, and this year there have been 4 deaths. An uncle at Christmas, a sister of Will Hall a few weeks ago, the baby a week ago, and now the mother. The family lives in the alley east of 2nd Street, an adjoining mound. In 1907, Charles C. Finney's son, Charles H. Finney, was born, and in 1913, Charles C. Finney was elected mayor of Atchison. Also in 1913, Agnes married William True, an engineer with Burlington Railroad. By 1916, things would start to go bad again for the Finney family. Charles was forced to step down as mayor due to a scandal involving alcohol sales at a local Eagles Lodge. In the same year, William True, Agnes's husband, would suffer a stroke while on vacation. He was brought back to Atchison's to receive better medical treatment. In May of 1918, William True died in the Sallie House. Later that same year in May, Kate Finney, mother of James, Charles, and Agnes, dies as well on the property. Agnes lived the rest of her days in the family home. She would take in travelers over the years to earn extra income to help with expenses. She would live until 1939, when she too would die in the home. Her brother soon moved to Topeka, where he lived until his death in 1947. From then on, the house was rented out to only a few families. The Mize family moved into the home in 1948. It's unknown why, but they did not stay long. From 1948 to 1958, not much is known of the house or its tenants. In 1958, Ethel Anderson moved into the house and stayed clean up to 1990 when the Pickman family moved in, and that's where the legend of the Sallie House begins. In 1992, the Pickman family made media headlines with reports of paranormal and demonic activity within the home. They had several appearances on the 1990s television show Sightings, with reports of physical attacks, growling, scratching sounds, full-body apparition. The film crew from the show also reported being pushed, scratched, and the sounds of voices and footsteps could be heard. I'm not going to go into the events surrounding the Pickman family. That information is everywhere. If you're a paranormal fan, I'm sure you've read the stories and have seen some of the footage. I'll link more information in the description below. This house has seen its share of tragedy. 3 deaths in the first 4 years of construction. In total, 7 members of the Finney family died on the property within its first 50 years, along with others, I'm sure, making visits to the doctor. Then there is Sallie Hall, a short life surrounded by so much tragedy. Takes her final breaths within the Sallie House, having 14 children with only 4 surviving, losing the last at birth just a week before her own death. Could the combined history of the property be the reason for the paranormal reports today? I think so, but I'll leave you to make your own decisions. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button and subscribe. And don't forget to share with your friends. If you have a suggestion for a future video, send it over to docket360@gmail.com or DM me on Twitter @docket360. And as always, have a great night.